Okay, let's have a demonstration where we will build a completely new web application. The aim is to build some kind of a toilet wall, so let's call it a wall HTML. And now we have it. It's completely empty, but let's use these boilerplates. And first we have some kind of a div element with something like main canvas, like this. And inside this element we will have the header, which has just h1 called and with the aim of our application toilet wall. So now we have a toilet wall, and what we want to let users to write their text to the toilet wall. So first we will need the wall, and then we will need the controls that the users are able to write some text. So let's start with the wall. It's here. We can put some default text there, so that we see what is there. Let's see. Yeah, now there is this wall with one text element. Now we have the wall, then we need the controls to have a way the users input text. They are of course writing poems there. What else would they write? Let's use this text area. For our poem input, and then we need also the ID, which is the same, like this. And what else? Let's have a label for this poem input. So this is such a label text that is meant for this text area. So we can use this for attribute to mark that this label is for this text area. What next? No, well, we need a button to have some kind of a action play. Some kind of button to include start this action, that we will have a way to include the new poem to our wall. I cannot write and think at the same time. Yeah, let's see. There is the wall, there is a box, and there are all the actions. Yeah, this seems to be good. And then this looks like very ugly. Maybe we should do some CSS fine-tuning, but let's start with the GS. Let's put some JavaScript. Yeah, now we have the wall, and we will need to of course include that. So script. This, and then we will also have the CSS file, so let's include wall CSS here. And now we can, so we have the CSS file, then we need to link it. Text/CSS and the actual file is here, this one. Yes. And let's add some JavaScript code next. First, I'm going to copy paste this ready state, and then we will build this initialize method. So we have, of course, this add poem button, which we can get through document, get element by ID, and it was ID was add poem. Now we have the button, and then we need to add event listener to that button. And of course the event listener is click. That's what we are trying to get, the function. And the actual code. Yeah. And what next? We will of course need to have that input. Which we can also get through get element ID, and this was poem input. Let's check that it definitely was poem input. Yes, it was. Like that. And then we will need to have the wall where we are going to put some new stuff, and once again we will get that through get element ID, and it was called the wall. Yeah. And now we can we can do something. We can console log working adding new stuff, and then let's see what happens. Working and in new stuff. Yeah, it seems to be working. So now we need to get a way to have a new item on this list, and we can get that by building a new poem. So it's like a new list item, and we create new item by create element, and what we will need need the list item. And to that list item, we will append child. Of course, there will be a new content there, and what we will put there, we will create text node from the poem inputs value. So we are not using the inner HTML, we are using this create text node, because this escapes the harmful HTML code and takes only the text. And now we are appending the new item there, and then we will we are appending content to that new item. Then we will still need to get the wall to have that, so we are appending child to there, and that's what we are appending is this new list item. Let's see, it should work. Yeah, we are getting a new poem there. Okay, then we will, some poems are more important than some others, so let's add a checkbox here, so that user can select that my poem is very important. Let's have a checkbox here like this, and its name is VIP, its ID is VIP, like this, and then this is a very important poem, and we are not slashing div, but this input. Yeah, I think our HTML part is now finished. We can manage with this one. So now there is a checkbox. This is a very important poem. And now we can continue with the CSS, which is right now extremely empty. But let's do something. First we will need some background color. Let's go with white. Let's put some bigger font there and change the font family to Verdana. Yeah, like this. Actually, what we were missing, that we didn't have any footer here. This is a good application. We need a footer, of course. This is the very fake copyright. Like this. So now we have this kind of thing. Yeah, let's do some styling to the footer. We can add once again border to top to make it a bit divided from the actual main content. Let's have a groove here. White gray color is nice. Yeah. Now it's groove. And put some padding there. 0.5 EM is probably quite okay. And then let's move the text to the right and have some kind of a margin on top. 1 EM is okay. Now we have the footer here. It's quite okay. Then I built this main canvas, which is the actual application space. It includes the header, main, and footer. We can use it like this to have a way to put this as a centered, but let's first have some nice color there and background, and then max width 1000 pixels and the margin as a 0 and auto. Yeah, so it's gender, but I have so much zoom that it's not visible. What next? Okay, we have this title. Let's use some very fancy tricks to get it look like a toilet wall. So first let's have a background color. Then we will need also border radius of 5 pixels is probably right, and let's have a margin of up 0, right -1 em, and bottom 1 em, and left -1 em. So now we get a bigger header here, and we can have also some text shadows. Let's have a slight movement to right and a little bigger movement to bottom, and then the actual size is 0.0 em, and the color should be FF. So it's very red, yeah, but it looks like hell right now. We need to do some more no text shadow, but text alignment. Let's have center it, and let's have some padding there. We will add 0.2 em to the top, 0 to the right, 0.2 to the bottom, and 0 to left. Let's see, now it looks a bit better. And then we will need, of course, a bigger font. Let's go with 3 em, so it's quite a big, yeah, good. And maybe we could have some box shadow also. Zero em to the right, 0.2 em to bottom, size 1 em, and color could be something like yellowish. Let's go with this kind of a orange, dark orange. Now we have a glowing there, and then we can have nice fonts. So I have already select some fonts. Let's import them. So there are few fonts. There are Architects, Tudor, Family, and Gloria, blah blah blah. There are 4 fonts actually in this this part. So now we can use the Z cool while cursive. If I did make mistake, yes, I made some mistake. Yeah, there is this comma is missing. Now we got the fancy font, but there are also several other fonts. We will use them soon. Then the wall itself is now just an unordered list, so it's pretty lame. Let's modify it. So we have this. We would not need to use the actual ID, but because there is only one unordered list, but let's go with the ID also. So we are defining that only this list should be with this style. Display flex. So we want to get all the items in somehow same row, but flex wrap means that if there is no space in that row, then they will wrap to the next row. This is good. And lastly, let's with list style type we could get rid of this dot. Let's see what happens. And now if I'm adding this, I'm getting all the, let's have a shorter one. They are going to the same row, and when the row is full, then it goes to the next row. This looks a bit ugly, so let's do some styling. We will have this as first, and after that the li element list item. So let's first make flex shrink 0. Then we will decide that this one item will be only 200 pixels. There will be some kind of a margin of 1 EM. Now it should look much more beautiful. Yeah, this is the first one. And if we add the second one, third one, fourth one, now you see the point that it's working. We are getting new posts, new poems there. Let's continue. Let's add some padding. It should be also 1 EM. And then we might get a background color. Let's go with this yellow orange one. And box shadow is so nice that we like to have a little bit of box shadow. Centered 0.3 EM, and the color should be this B88. Let's see, now we have a yellow box there. And let's continue with the border radius of 2 pixels. It's a bit nicer. Then we can select the new font. And I need to copy paste this font name. I cannot make so many typos there. Like this. Yeah, it's like more like a handwritten text. And we would need some kind of a bigger font there. Yeah, 1.2 EM. And we could actually do some nice tricks soon, but let's go with this. Then the actual controls need some fine tuning. First we will have a width of 500 pixels, margin 0 auto. Yeah, now we are getting it centered. And then within these poem controls there are label, there is this text area, and then there is this button. Yeah, and let's do something for these. Let's make sure that they are block and they have some short margin like this. Yeah, now they are every one of these is a block, so they are over each other in this sense. And this is not nice that we have this kind of a box and small button there, so let's do some magic to this button and text area. By adding 100% of width. Now it is nicer. And then to the actual button we will add even more styling. First put some padding there. 1 EM is fine. Then let's do some border, 2 pixels, solid, and the color is DD 0077, so it's purple or pink. Border radius of 2 EM, so it's quite high. Now we have a rounded corners in this button. And then we can have a background image as linear gradient to right, and let's go from red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet, like this. Now we got so nice rainbow. Or we did not. Yeah, maybe now we got it. Yes. And as this is now rainbow, you cannot read the text, so we need to modify the text a bit. So first of all, let's have a bigger text there. Then it should have a color of more whitish. And then let's have a short text shadow to have a border around the text. And this should be black. And let's have a font weight. So the lightest font is 100 and the boldest font is 900, and we will use the 900 here. So now we can see that what is the text, we can read it. And now we can add poems there easily. But this button is not functioning yet, so we would like to have some kind of a function for this. So let's make sure that if this is checked, then the text is a bit bigger font size, and it's bolded. So let's add a class VIP and make sure that the font weight is here is 900 and font size is 1.1 EM. So it's a bit bigger text when this VIP is used, and now we need to use it here in the CSS and mark. Okay. So we have this new list item. So we can then see that if the, no, we will actually, first we will need to get the value of this VIP checkbox. So let's get it. VIP. Now we have the checkbox there, and then we can check that if the VIP is checked. If this is true, then we can add the VIP class. So new list item, class list, which lists all the classes the element has, and then we can add a new class called VIP there. Yeah, let's see what happens. So these are non-bold, then it should get a bold one. Yeah, let's not have a bold, and then bold. Yeah, it works, but if we are writing to the toilet wall, we are not getting all the text with same font. Different persons use different fonts and different style of boxes to write. Let's do some randomizing. So CSS basically doesn't have any way to do random styling, but it can. There are several ways to do pseudo-random styling. So let's go with this choice and try to do something. First, let's add transform here. and rotate the text box, let's say 0.5 degrees, so it's very little. Let's see. Now there is a slight rotation, and then we will copy paste this definition, but we don't need these. We will only have a different transformation on different list items, and we can use this nth child, not the nth child, but the end of a type, this one. So how is it the first of a type or second, or now this is the first, this is the second, but then we can have every second. This is what we want. We want every second to have a -1 degree rotation. Let's see what happens. No, this is not what we want. Copy paste there. Now every second is slightly to the left, and the rest are even more slider to the right. Yeah, it looks good. But we have still the same font here, and they are pretty much same aligned. So let's do some magic more. Let's add margin to top -1 EM, and then change the font family. And now I'm just copy pasting these font families, so I won't make any typos there. Let's see. Okay, now we are getting something. Yeah, this looks good, but it's still not enough random. So let's add some randomness. We can have every third, every fourth, every fifth, and actually even every sixth, like here. So first -1 degree, -1 M, then we can have this like a 1 degree and -0.5 EM. Then the fourth one is going to be -1.5 degrees with 2 EM, then 1.5 degrees and 0.5 EM, and finally every sixth has 0 degrees and -0.3. And then let's add some fonts here. So this third we will have this kind of a font, and let's put it also to this every fifth, and then every sixth could use this Z cool. Let's see. Now we should have some kind of a fancy system here. Yeah, we have different fonts and different rotation, etc. Now this is the toilet wall. Looks kinda okay.